Hey guys, so today I will be showing you guys how I will be repairing one of these fusible links on my 300ZX Z31. I have a 1989. I don't know if it's different through model years, but yeah. So one of mine blew because I was hooking the battery up. I guess there was overflow of current and the wire melted inside. So for the tools needed for this repair, I had solder on hand, so I mean, I don't think you really need it, but I had it, so I'm going to use it. You also need a multimeter. I mean, I guess you don't need it, but it's another sure way to test if your link is actually broken or not. You need wire strippers to strip this, and so I just picked these up at, I think, Advanced Auto. This is a 14 gauge fusible link wire, should have it, and 1/4 inch female connectors. I mean, you could try and get the pin out of here with the wire out, but I completely broke it, so I had to get some new ones. And a small flathead screwdriver would probably be nice for you too. Okay, so there are a couple ways to test your actual fusible links. Some people say you can see that the wire's melted inside, and I don't know, but mine wasn't. So this is not the one that broke because unfortunately I already pulled the wire out of the one that broke. But you should be able to kind of move the wire around, and you should be able to feel a break if it's broken inside. There's also another way to do it with a multimeter. So I have this multimeter on hand. It is just some random one. So I ended up setting it to this setting right here, and it'll just kind of display this. Some beep, mine didn't, but I guess you really don't need it. So you end up just take these 2 points and you kind of stuff one of them in this end here. Stuff one of them in this end here, and one of them in the metal end here. You should be able to see it on the end of the clip. And so the multimeter should read really close to 0. This one works because I tested it and it read 0.002. So I think that one's all right. So I'm just giving you guys what a test of this. I know this one's good because it's reading 0.000, but I would say anything past 0.004, you should probably go ahead and replace it. But yeah, just shove one end in that metal part and one end inside the metal there. Okay, so here's the one I previously removed. The way I thought was easiest is there's some little pins in there that end up holding a clip like this, holding it in here. And so the way I best did it was I got this small pair of tweezers and I just shoved it inside, pulled the pins together, and it just kind of pulled right out. But I would say if you're doing this, you might probably need to get new clips because I tried everything and I cannot get this wire out. Okay, so once you pull the wire out, you should be left with something like this. A wire like these will be connected, but this is where my break was. So I kind of just ripped it open to see it. So you should be left with something like this. So these two, you can just set aside for later. And this, I mean, if you're wiring up a new one, you won't need it. Okay, so I got this from Advanced Auto. It says it's 14 gauge fusible link wire. And fortunately, I think it's way longer than you need it to be. It's actually this long. And if you look at this, you only kind of need half of it, maybe a quarter or so for your thing. But the one I got has this end on it and this kind of butt connector on it. So I need to take my cutters and just kind of cut this end off. Cut this end off and cut the other end off because we will not be using them. Okay, so now you're left with just the bare wire, and I'm going to go ahead and cut probably about this much off because if you take a different one, it should be good. Actually, I'll probably go like that much. Cut that much off because we have this much to do anything else with. Okay, so once you're left with this, I mean, you should know the wiring basics, but just kind of strip out an end, both sides. The wire is quite big, so I don't know if random generic wire strippers Might have to get something that you know can strip it. Strip out, I don't think, probably that should be enough. Not of an end, it's like about a fingertip. So I ended up getting these 1/4 inch female quick disconnects. I also got these Advanced Auto, just the Dorman brand. And so they have like these little ends on them that I'm gonna try and take off because I'm going to be soldering. But if you are not soldering, you could probably just leave them on. I don't see why it matters. Okay, so I was able to get these off. Just kind of put pliers on the end of both ends, and just yank it, and they come right off. So I'm not using these, but yeah, you can if you're not ended up soldering. But you just do the basics, just twist these up. My wire cutters and my strippers do have crimpers here, but forgot you will probably need a thing of crimpers if you don't have them on your strippers. Okay, so this is what I'm left with. I mean, I'm no wiring expert, but I guess feel free to diss me in the comments. I mean, yeah. So right now I'm gonna go up ahead and I'm going to end up applying a little bit of solder in between the cracks here. I end up leaving a little bit of wire here to fold over, and I'll solder it back on the top, also on the other end. I don't know if you're going to be soldering, but if not, then you can skip this step. Okay, so since I'm doing this on my glass desk, I got this old Rock Auto box. Car guys over here, you should have a lot of them laying around. But I just got this random electrical solder at Lowe's. I don't know if it's what I'm supposed to use, but I'm going to use it anyway because this is what I got. Okay, so I did end up moving outside. It's kind of creates a lot of smoke and stuff. Doing it in a room I don't think is the greatest idea. But I soldered them up. I don't think they look very good, but hopefully they do the trick. Unfortunately, since I used much smaller connectors, they will not fit back into this clip. So I guess I'm just going to run it without the clip. It's not really needed, it just gives us some protection. So unfortunately I had to do some quick modding on these clips. It's not focusing. And so I bought the 1/4 inch ones thinking they would be the same as all the others. Thinking like the male pin would be the same as all the other ones. But if your fusible link labeled as BAT, which I'm guessing is the battery, if that one blew on yours, you're gonna need a much bigger clip. I would just end up taking the original clip you stole out of, the original connector you stole out of the clip to like auto parts store. Maybe they can find one for you. But I ended up getting 1/4 inch ones, and I had to kind of expand them a little bit. So what I did was I just took these needle nose, and I just kind of pried these pins back. Pried like the connector pins back enough to accept it, and then once you shove it onto the male thing, they should expand with it. I think it should work, hopefully. Okay, so I did end up getting it on. I had to kind of jangle it around with the needle nose a little bit. Just kind of put it on and shove it in, and it can feel that it kind of clicks down in there, so it should be good. Ignore my janky wiring, that'll be a later video. Okay, so I drew up this diagram before I took it off, and so you can see this kind of correlates to this as a battery. Up here is the side of the car. So here was the gray one. It originally had a gray wire that was the battery one that we just repaired. And then, so the 2 red wired ones is right here. and that kind of clicks in here to that one. And if you just read the diagram, this green one goes there, and this one red one goes here. And you'll be able to see here that there's clips, there's pins that they connect on right in here. But to access that, you're gonna have to take this off. It's kind of tough to take off. I had to like break the outside of the clip a little bit, but we should be fine. So this is what it should look like when it's done. I completely destroyed my clip, so this thing doesn't fit on there because I'm impatient and yeah. But old clip, if you kind of try and get this out, some parts will crack, but I just kind of put it back in there to the best of my ability. And there is the cap that sits over top, but that's pretty much how it goes. Okay, so what was happening with my car was I had just done the 5-speed swap. See right here, just done the 5-speed swap, and when I was going to do the inhibitor switch, to make sure that, like the manual clutch switch, I destroyed the clip that you have to put in here. So I ended up just stopping that, and I took out the relay for the inhibitor switch, and I just kind of jumped it, and I let it start, and it did end up starting, which was the good part. But none of the lights worked. None of the lights worked, none of the outside lights, not even my brake lights, nothing indoor, my tack, my speedo, nothing in here worked. So now I ended up putting that in, the battery switch, and we do have gauges in here now. We do have lights, and we do have headlights. Did. But I think my battery's so dead because it was sitting out here for a while. But I guess that was a fix. Alright guys, thank you for staying to the end of this video. I know it's my first video, but there should be more coming soon. It would do me a solid if you would subscribe.